if an interstellar object whirling through our solar system is actually a nuclear-powered spacecraft sent by aliens to test how humans respond? That's what a noted astrophysicist believes might be the case. And he says an image from the Hubble telescope.
It is mid-October 2025, and something unusual is happening far beyond Earth's atmosphere. Quietly, without announcements or press briefings, astronomers across the world have begun to notice gaps in one of NASA's most closely watched data streams. Telemetry packets are missing. Image sequences arrive incomplete. Routine updates freeze without explanation. At first, no alarms are raised. Technical glitches are not uncommon in deep space observation, but within days, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. An anonymous message appears on a closed scientific forum, containing fragments of internal NASA files, infrared imagery, routing logs, classification stamps, and one sentence that changes everything. Energy signatures inconsistent with natural cometry processes. If you follow real space science, real investigations, and stories that unfold in real time, subscribe now. Because what's happening with 3I/Atlas may be the most important space discovery of our lifetime, and it's only just beginning. The first signs. Something was wrong. 3I/Atlas was never supposed to be controversial. Discovered months earlier by the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System in Hawaii, it was catalogued as the third confirmed interstellar object ever observed passing through our solar system. Like its predecessors, it arrived from beyond the gravitational boundary of the Sun, following a hyperbolic trajectory that would eventually send it back into interstellar space. At first, it behaved almost exactly as expected. A dim object, high velocity, no threat to Earth. But as October approached, something changed. As 3I/Atlas moved closer to the inner solar system, multiple observatories began requesting higher resolution data. That's when the inconsistencies started appearing. Public NASA feeds showed delays, image sets appeared cropped, telemetry updates arrived hours late, then days. Researchers assumed bandwidth prioritization or processing bottlenecks, until independent observatories began noticing the same gaps. European Space Agency partners confirmed that their scheduled data syncs were suddenly rerouted through private NASA servers. Japanese astronomers reported that raw signal access required new authorization they had never needed before. No official explanation was given. And then the leak happened. The message that broke the silence. The post appeared quietly, buried inside a thread normally reserved for calibration discussions. No headline, no announcement, just files, encrypted archives, infrared spectral graphs, routing metadata, and a brief explanation. The sender identified himself as a retired NASA systems engineer, formerly assigned to the Deep Space Network. He claimed the files were internal reports generated during routine anomaly screening, automated systems designed to flag telemetry patterns that deviate from expected natural behavior. One internal note stood out: structured periodic emissions detected, source classification pending. The engineer added a single sentence of his own: "I don't know what it is, but I know what it isn't. It isn't human technology." Within hours, the files were downloaded, mirrored, and analysed across laboratories worldwide. NASA said nothing. What scientists were already seeing. Even before the leak, 3I/Atlas had been raising eyebrows. Unlike typical comets, it displayed almost no rotational instability, no wobble, no chaotic tumbling. Its orientation remained remarkably consistent, as if stabilized. More unusual was its thermal behavior. Infrared observations showed faint energy pulses, repeating at precise intervals. Not flares, not random spikes, measured evenly spaced emissions. And yet, no visible tail. Despite being close enough to the Sun for surface ice to sublimate, 3I/Atlas produced none of the characteristic gas plumes seen in natural comets. Its surface appeared inert, even as energy readings fluctuated. These anomalies were puzzling, but not unprecedented, until the leak suggested NASA knew more than it was saying. The engineer behind the leak journalists moved quickly. Within 48 hours, multiple independent reporters confirmed the leaker's identity, not by name, but by credentials. Employment records, retirement dates, internal system access. He had worked in data integrity and signal routing for NASA's Deep Space Network, until retiring in 2022. According to his account, unusual telemetry patterns automatically trigger secondary analysis protocols. These alerts exist to protect against corrupted data, interference, or unexpected astrophysical phenomena. 3I/Atlas triggered all of them. Repeatedly, the engineer claimed that 3 separate alerts flagged structured emissions, a category typically reserved for artificial transmitters, not natural objects. When he attempted to escalate the findings, he was told the data would be handled through interagency review. Days later, the files were gone, reclassified, removed from his archive access. That was when he copied what remained. NASA's official response. NASA's public position has been carefully worded. In a brief statement released by the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, officials described 3I/Atlas as a natural interstellar object exhibiting unexpected thermal variations. They acknowledged temporary data irregularities, but denied any evidence of artificial origin. No mention was made of the leaked files. No explanation was given for rerouted transmissions. Privately, researchers tell a different story. One senior analyst at the Goddard Space Flight Center described internal communications as unusually quiet. Normally, collaborative raw data sharing had been replaced by approval delays and restricted access. When asked about the leak's authenticity, she paused. "The formatting looks real," she said, "and if it is, then this is bigger than they want to admit." The signals themselves. Independent analysts who reviewed the leaked fragments focused on one detail above all others: the frequency. The emissions clustered near 1,420 MHz, the hydrogen line, a frequency deeply familiar to astronomers. It is naturally emitted by neutral hydrogen atoms across the universe, but it also holds symbolic significance. For decades, scientists have considered the hydrogen line a logical choice for interstellar communication: universal, unmistakable, and unlikely to be interference. Natural emissions occur randomly. These did not. The pulses repeated at regular intervals, short, precise, patterned. Early confirmation attempts from Chile's Paranal Observatory and Japan's Subaru telescope detected faint but matching spikes. NASA released no new readings after October 14th. International pressure builds. The European Space Agency quietly extended its observation schedule. France's CNES and Germany's DLR joined a shared monitoring initiative, citing public interest and scientific responsibility. In India, astronomers prepared upgraded radio arrays for direct signal capture. A joint letter signed by 60 astronomers from 9 countries demanded full, unedited telemetry within 48 hours. "If this object comes from beyond our star," one European director stated, "it belongs to everyone." NASA did not respond. The pressure builds. As the leaked information about 3I/Atlas spread, attention shifted from the object itself to NASA's response. The central question became unavoidable. If this is a natural interstellar visitor, why restrict the data at all? Amateur astronomers across the globe began independent tracking efforts. While none could conclusively verify the leaked signals, several reported faint, repeating brightness variations, subtle enough to avoid certainty, but consistent enough to keep concern alive. Behind closed doors in Washington, NASA administrators were quietly summoned for classified briefings. At the same time, cybersecurity analysts reached a critical conclusion. The leaked files were not the result of hacking. Metadata confirmed the data had been copied internally from NASA's Deep Space Network during scheduled maintenance at the Goldstone facility. This discovery reframed the story. The issue was no longer who leaked the data, but why it was moved and hidden in the first place, pooling telescope time and sharing raw measurements through encrypted channels. Their early results echoed the leak: faint, repeating emissions near 1,420 MHz, the hydrogen line. No claims of communication were made, but the anomaly was acknowledged as real. The scientific community split sharply. One side argued that 3I/Atlas's stable rotation, lack of a visible tail, and structured emissions do not match known comet physics. The other urged caution, warning that extraordinary conclusions drawn too early could undermine real science. The retired engineer resurfaced briefly with a final statement, claiming the data had been transferred into a classified framework linked to defense-level anomaly monitoring. Shortly afterward, all contact with him ceased. As NASA announced an upcoming briefing, the object continued its silent passage through space, unchanged in appearance, yet persistent in signal. No answers yet, only growing pressure. Outro. Right now, we are not witnessing a conclusion. We are witnessing the middle of a mystery. 3I/Atlas has not revealed what it is, and NASA has not fully explained what it knows. All that exists is data, silence, and a world watching closely. If you want calm, evidence-based coverage of stories like this as they unfold, without hype, but without ignoring the hard questions, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. This investigation isn't over, and whatever the truth is, it will change how we look at the universe. Stay curious, stay critical, and keep your eyes on the sky.